Hey guys, Stillball Jack, and welcome to the second season of me doing the summaries and reviews of the latest episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Stardust Crusaders Season 2, which is the Egyptian arc, where we get to see a lot more different bad guys, and we get to finally see a little bit more. I don't know whether they're going to cut it off for the Egyptian arc, but let's just get on with this episode. I have, as always, my notes, all crumbled and shit. Okay. So it's like in the newsroom. Okay, lads. So, basically, the episode starts off, and it's just got the desert that we left off from in the end of season 1. And basically, you've got this like 3D kind of camera that's like. Then it goes round the 5 members, so it goes. Then it zooms right onto Jotaro's face, and he's like, "Let's go." Then it goes into the new intro. Now, the new intro song is much heavier compared to Stand Proud, and the singers are Tommy. Who did the very first So no Chino Sadame, as well as Koda and Jin, I think his name is. There's 3 guys, and to be honest, it's equal to the Stand Proud in my opinion. It's not better, it's not worse. It's like, yeah, it's good. It just doesn't like overgo it, like wow, yeah. But in the video, minus featuring Iggy, it's not really that much. It's not as exciting, you know, as compared to the first one. I like the end of the song where each of the 3 singers actually in the song go boom. Then comes out JoJo no Kimi no Bouken, Stardust Crusaders, and I was like, I like that part. That was my favorite part of the song because the anime is next, yay. So then of course it goes straight into the commercials, and the first commercial that comes out is trying to sell you the Blu-ray and DVD of this episode and the next 3 episodes, even though we haven't watched it. And I know what they're doing. They're just like, well, we know people are going to buy them, and we're going to put out what's inside the Blu-ray and the special edition and stuff. I just find it really funny, the fact that we get, like, it's the episode minus the intro has been on for less than a minute, literally 30 seconds. And then it's like, buy all this, buy this, you get this, you get... we're going to buy it. I mean, everyone's going to buy it, because it's good and it's cool. Yeah, I'm just looking through my notes because I've written so much. I didn't realise I wrote this much. The episode, of course, episode 25, is actually called Iggys the Fool versus Ndools Geb, part 1. So it's like, yeah, that's cool because it's not a super long fight, but it's much longer than the most recent fights. You know, like the sun was kind of like extended longer, but it wasn't like too long, which is good. I mean, it doesn't do like over, where they just like in the over, it's just like dead, end of, bye. So of course Joseph and Abdul are talking about this new character because, you know, if you only watch the anime and like you're like, I'll watch the anime, I won't look on the internet and I won't do this, even though people clearly did, and you haven't previously watched Stardust Crusaders, you're like, who could that be? Who is hidden in that? Are we getting this like really small guy like, I'm gonna get you? No, of course we get the lovely Iggy, and they're talking about Iggy and that he's the final, well, not the final card technically, but he's the final tarot card, which is the Fool, in which later Kakuen actually says, well, I know the world is the Fool, and we've just heard some news from the pilots that brought Iggy here, that there are 9 other stand users under Dio's control. And it's like, but we've run out. So that makes it interesting, because they did it in the manga. But I mean, it did it in the manga and they did it here. But they make it more like, you know, with all the music and stuff like that, like, like that. So I'm sorry about the lighting as well. It's like 1 o'clock, I've got a really weird light, so I had to set up another light here, and you can see my face. Okay, sorry. So, as we get on with it, Iggy appears as Polnareff goes up and smacks the sea, and he's like, what's this? And he's got the drawl, he's got the drawl like that. He's like, oh, what's this? Like that. It does look really gross. Doesn't look like drool. Shh, don't tell your mothers. I don't know if the mic can pick up because it's a new camera. But basically, yeah, you just see him jump out, and it's like, oh, his name's Iggy, he's a dog, he has a stand, which we just learned from, it's called the Fool, and he likes to bite on people's hair, and he also likes to, and he goes, and does like a really cool fart sound, made me laugh. Polnareff goes to fight him, and it's, you know, like, I want to hear the growl, because I love the voice of the person who did Iggy, Iggy in All-Star Battle, but in this, when they showed it was this girl, and her previous stuff is more like high, kind of really high voice, I was like, I believe she'll do a good job, because they've all done a good job so far. Like, it sounds like they're the characters, it's cool, but I was wondering about how they would do Iggy. Like, is Iggy, when he actually starts talking, is he going to have this high voice? Because I preferred the voice from All-Star Battle personally, but I'll talk about that later when the episode comes. So, like, you meet the Fall for the first time when he comes out, and they take, like, a while to show him off, and that was really cool. And he goes, and he's got this really high, like, kind of raspy woman growl voice kind of thing. Oh, looks like a light's turned off. Oh well, I'll do this in the dark. So, yeah, after that, like, you find out he has a love for coffee-flavoured gum, and then, like, when he takes off, when the pilot takes out, it's like, ah, jumps on it, it's like, just, like, you know, rips it apart, and he's got his chocolate coffee gum in his mouth, and I just thought that was really funny, personally. It's really cool, because after they actually get him and they fit in the coffee gum, they do something that's not actually in the manga, and, they all sit down together with Joseph, like, holding Iggy in his arms, like, cradling like that, and then all of them around each other, and you got Jotaro smiling in the back, which is rare, and they take a picture, and they're like, okay, this is the picture of, you know, us, this is our momentum, and I thought, I like that. I don't know why they took it, but, you know, I'll talk about that later. And I was like, man, it's alright, it's cool, it's a new scene, it's interesting, it's good. They, of course, like I said, they talk about Dio's other 9 stand users. It's the Fall. It's the Fall. It's the Fall. It's cool. It's cool. Too cool to fall. It's my nickname. No. So yeah, you meet basically Ndools, who is our next stand enemy, but you don't know, because it's like, wait, so if he's not a tarot card, is it going to be something else? The stands got different names, and so he's like at the top of this mountain, and he does that cool thing where he goes to grab the fly, and he's like, tch, and then the fly, like, just barely escapes, and he's just like, oh, if only I just, you know, did it a little bit more. And he's walking away, talking about, I've got to get, you know, I'm going to do what Dio-sama says, I'm going to get rid of the Joestars. And then he does that, he gets his cane, goes on the rock, on this, like, small rock about, like, that big, and it bounces off and just smacks and knocks out the fly. I just love it, because, like, in the thing, it's like, boom, in the manga, so it goes boom, and it's like, but in this, it's probably like, and it doesn't, like, it doesn't go flying, it just goes, like, the fly's like, I'm dead, and I just found it funny, personally. It was really funny. Yeah, so that's what we see, and then we get, after that, it goes to our first break, and the first commercial blew my mind. So do you remember when we get the Ultra Jump ones, you know, in the first, we had, like, in the second anime, we had part 4, and you had, like, Josuke sitting there with Okuyasu and Koichi, and they're talking about Ultra Jump and stuff. And then in season 1, we actually had all of Bucciarati's team sitting down talking about Ultra Jump. This one we do actually get part 6. Yes, we got Jolene and Hermes, and it was at near the beginning when they're actually going to Dolphin Street, and they're actually sitting in there, and she's like, oh, I've got Ultra Jump. She's like, what's that? And then, as you know, or if you don't know, Hermes hides, she had like a boob operation, and she put money in there to hide, like extra money for prison. So they're talking about like the next month's, well, this month's Ultra Jump actually does come with a little Iggy chain. I'm definitely buying that. Comes with a little Iggy chain, so I'm gonna get, you know, like, they're like saying, oh, have you put the Iggy chain in your boob? She's like, no, I don't have anything like that in there. And it was awesome. It was really done well, like the previous ones. I'm waiting for the colour versions and the more updated versions as well. I doubt they're gonna change it entirely. Like they added a few more animations or made more characters speak in each of them. Whereas I think in this it will just be those two. So yeah, it was still awesome though. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, so we return back, and you know it always has a stand. It's the Fall, of course. It comes out like that. You got the Fall, like that. The Fall. Then the helicopter before that carried Iggy to the deserts. We see it crashed, and we see one of the pilots, and he's clawed his fingers, and you can see the close up of like the nails bent up and like a little bit of blood where he's tried to scratch, and you see him like that, and his mouth is full of water, and they turn his head, and of course the water flies out and a little fish, and they're like, wow, this is a lot of water, how could and especially in the desert, we're in the middle of the desert, how the balls could this happen? And then yeah, that's when we get to the part where he's like, oh, you want some water, and I love this part in the manga, and that's when he's got like that, and he's like, water, and he's like got the water, and he's like comes out, and as soon as Geb, which is the stand, comes out and grabs his head like that, when it does that, his face does the censored like darkness, it goes like that, and then it goes, and then his neck goes all dark like mine is because the bloody light, so it's all like dark, and it's like, and then it rips the head off, and you just see all the blood spurt everywhere, and it's all dark here and dark on the face and stuff, and it just goes and then back into the thing, into the water canister, as the team all spread out, and the water kind of just drops, and then for the next 5 minutes or so it's just like constantly just spurting out blood and dripping blood. And it's, to me, part 3, season 3 of JoJo, this is the most violent, I think, minus the dog face getting ripped, really, a dog getting destroyed, then I think this is the most violent one. Like the censors it was censoring all the disgusting stuff, and but it wasn't like, it showed quite a lot, like you could still see, you couldn't see like veins and stuff, but you could still see like the rip, and then when he throws it, I still thought that was awesome though, personally, they did a good job on that. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, and then you've got Geb, and then they're like, Geb and Polnareff, Kakyoin and Polnareff are arguing, and Polnareff's like, Polnareff's basically pointing out, saying like, I don't want to fight. And then Kakyoin's like, I don't want to fight because I don't want to. And he's like, I said I don't want to fast. Why are you making me fight? And then like you just see like the water gathering right in front of Kakyoin, and they're like, rah, 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 fighting. And then Kakyoin looks, and Geb goes, and yeah, he basically blinds Kakyoin like that. And you'll see more stuff later. But basically he gets cut in the eyes like that, and then we hear beep 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 beep. Beep, 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 coming from the watch of the pilot that had his that was beheaded, and you just see Geb. It's really cool like this, like that. Cuts his watch and his hand. You see the hand as well, just like it has like a sensor around the stump where it was cut, and it's like that, and it's like close to the camera like that, and you just got like the stumps all red, like black with a little bit of blood here and there. And then they find out that it's actually done by sound. It doesn't actually, this stand cannot see, just like its owner, Ndools, but it can see, it can hear. So if anyone makes a sound, imagine if it came a little bit earlier, when Iggy farted and just came out and grabbed Iggy, and it's like, oh, well, oh, poor dog, I miss him, I don't even know him. But yeah, let's get more into this, as I've still got all my notes here. Yeah, so of course they realise they're searched by sounds. Then we actually see Geb return to Ndools, and it's like you're behind like first person 3D going back through the desert, and you just see it go like that into Ndools, and he's just like sitting there with his stick, and he's like, I will get rid of the Joestars, and he's like, Iggy wakes up and jumps onto like the sand, and he's like, Is that a sound of a dog? That's very light. It must be a dog. And he's like, maybe I should kill it. And then the water just grabs the buggy and starts putting it into the sand. And they're on it, because if they jump off, then Geb's just gonna go and attack them. So they're like on it, like, oh no, and they're like, Iggy, do something. And he's just like, like that. And in the end, it's just like that. He's like, and Doe's like, I will not kill an innocent dog. I'm gonna kill the Joestars first. And I'm like, well, he's not innocent. Well, he is innocent, but you're still gonna kill him. Have some love, man. For the love of love. Yeah, so as it goes in, you've got that, and then you've basically got the end of it where Ndools like then it's like boom, and they're like they're going down in the buggy, and it's like the last part where the buggy's like and they're like then it's like to be continued, and that's the end of the episode. With the new outro is awesome because it's I'm gonna get this wrong. Pat Memphi Group, Last Train Home. I think that's the name. I got Pet a Group right, I know that. And it's got no lyrics, and I've never heard the song before, and it's so beautiful. Like, this is an old song, and it's so beautiful, and it fits it, because in the actual outro, you just see like they're in the desert as just standing there, and then it like moves along a bit, and then you see like Polnareff and Iggy looking out a train window, and then it zooms out and you've got all of them in the train just like reading stuff or just sitting there, and it goes to the next part which is more inside Egypt, and they're just standing up against pillars looking at the sky with this with the moon there, and then it keeps on moving along, and you've got like all the different characters just standing there at different places, and at the end you've got Jotaro standing there holding something, and then the sand goes like like a mini thing, and you just see this piece of paper go right up to the screen, and it was the picture of all of them that they took in the beginning of this episode, and I was just like, my feelings have been touched. It's like E.T. didn't just like go phone home and touch me, he just went and did that 1-inch punch, Bruce Lee one, just KO'd my heart. Then we got the next episode, which will be coming next week of course, and it's episode 26, and of course titled the same but part 2, so Iggys the Fool versus Ndools Geb part 2. Really looking forward to that because it's going to be the actual fight. I don't think they're going to go into a part 3, to be honest. It's going to be all done in part 2, and then we're going to see some Oingo Boingo stuff, maybe some Derby. Can't wait for Derby. That's the next one I'm really looking forward to, is the Daniel J. Derby battle. Well, you say battle. But yeah, basically so that was my summary, my review of the episode. We got to see Iggy. The animation Iggy is awesome. He's really cute. It's really funny. What else is there? Like, we saw Ndools, he looks really cool. They've done the animation as always from season 1 and from part 2 and part 1. Oh, magics. Everything's all perfect. Everything's great animation. The new intro is kind of samey as the original, apart from that Order, which I really liked. And the Last Train Home, once again, just like Walk Like an Egyptian, they're using old songs. And this one was perfect, because it's like the Last Train Home, and it's like that kind of song where you could sit there, and it's like you've been on a long journey, and you're coming home in your car, or literally on the train or whatever, and you're just like, this is, And actually, it's a lovely song, and a lovely, outro, to be honest. I thought it was awesome. What else? The next episode is going to be great because we're going to see more. But for this, as the very first episode of the Egyptian arc, it was great. It was very interesting. I wasn't looking for any more, and I was actually not suspecting any less, of course, and I didn't get it. I got a lot. I got Iggy, and they straight up just went boom, 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 and got out Iggy, but in a funny way. It was really well done. They talked about more in-depth stuff. We got this really cool, unique new scene where they take a picture together, and I can see something happening slowly to that as time goes on, but I'm not going to say anything. Great episode. So, as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Next week I'll have another episode. Before then, I do actually have something I want to say in an update video, which hopefully I'll do over this weekend, as well as updating some other stuff. So, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later.